I remember that the teachers had a big shawl, both Ms. Zabelian and Ms. Shahnazarian. They would wrap themselves up in that shawl, kneel before the furnace and blow, and fill it with pieces of wood. It was tough. We would switch places so that all of us could keep warm. We would try to sit close to the furnace to stay warm.
For the students of Dilijan School Number 2, cold classrooms have become a past memory because a heating system has been installed here. It is one of the 104 schools having benefited from the urban heating project. Artur Hakopyan, a maintenance worker at Yerignatsor School Number 2, does regular checkups in the summer months to make sure that the boiler house is ready for the winter.
The cost is fine, it's good. Everything has been installed well. We consume 12 to 13,000 cubic meters of gas each season, and it's enough to heat the school very well.
Karine Markarian is a teacher at the school. She remembers how just 3 years ago they would have to finish a 45-minute class in 20 minutes. Her heavy coat would make it difficult for her to write on the blackboard. The oil furnaces would only slightly change the air in the classroom, but not the temperature.
Our school now works the way it used to work back in the years when I was a pupil. It is the heating that has enabled our school to return to full-time academic and extracurricular activities.
The rehabilitation of the heating system in schools was implemented in 2 stages. First, boiler houses were built in 97 schools. Then, the savings under the project were used to install heating systems in 7 schools for children with special educational needs.
The peculiarity of these schools is that children live here, and it's very important for their health and education that we provide adequate conditions.
Volodya Kanayan is a maintenance worker at Varashapat Special School Number 2. He still keeps the kerosene heater in the storage room.
These are our old furnaces. We used these in the past. Now they've installed a new heating system. Everything is good.
The school not only has a heating system now, but also a shower room for the children. Now it's easier for children with physical disabilities to live and study in this building.
We host children with disabilities. In the past, we used to heat water in the kitchen to take care of the children. Now the shower room has made our work easier.
All 104 schools where boiler houses and heating systems have been installed are in different regions of Armenia. There are still funds left in the project, which allows financing the construction works in an additional 11 schools in order to keep them warm. In these schools, in addition to construction of the heating systems, windows are being replaced or renovated, and the roofs and cellars are being thermo-insulated. Construction workers from the company Z Profile, working in Harazdan School Number 12, are among the first to have applied innovative energy-efficient technologies.
We not only provide heating to this school, but also do energy efficiency works. These will allow the school to spend less on fuel. On the other hand, we all know that carbon emissions destroy the ozone layer, and this is a global issue. At least on our part, on the part of Armenia as a small country, the emissions can be reduced and they won't damage the environment.
Renewable energy projects are of great significance for Armenia. The country's own energy resources are limited. One of the lessons learned of the past energy crisis is that the local resources should be used efficiently in order to ensure the country's energy independence and security. The Metsamor nuclear power plant, the thermal power stations in Yerevan and Harazdan, as well as the hydro cascades of Vorotan and Sevan Harazdan, are the main producers of electricity in Armenia. The nuclear power plant produces about 40% of the total electricity. Another 30% is produced by the thermal stations, and the remaining 30% is produced by the hydro stations. This meets all of Armenia's current needs. However, the fuel for the nuclear plant and the thermal stations is imported. Fluctuations in the global fuel prices and possible interruptions of fuel imports jeopardize the reliability of electricity supply in the country.
One could say that the development of renewable energy in Armenia is of triple importance. First, it uses local energy sources. Second, it uses renewable energy sources. And third, it uses clean sources of energy.
Water, the sun, wind, and biomass are sources of renewable, or in other words, clean energy. In particular, the market for small hydropower stations is well developed in Armenia. The government of Armenia has created clear incentives for investment in this area. The law on energy mandates the power distribution grid to buy the electricity generated by small hydropower stations for 15 years after they become operational. The Public Services Regulatory Commission has established feed-in tariff for the electricity produced by the hydropower plants.
The feed-in tariffs enable developers, based on the technical parameters, to assess whether it makes business sense to invest without having to rely on any state official. And the guarantee of 15 years of purchase meant that the developers could confidently invest in this area.
94 small hydropower stations are operational in Armenia, with about 124 megawatts of total capacity. That meets about 3% of Armenia's domestic demand for electricity. An additional 65 hydropower stations are currently under construction. After they start operating, the small hydropower stations will meet 6% of the total internal demand for electricity. 27 of the currently operating small hydropower stations were constructed under the World Bank's Renewable Energy Project. Their total capacity is 43 megawatts.